Okay, so I finally got a bloody day off, so time to work on Kratos, or at least kind of start on it at least. So I have this body here. I think it's called Random. I have literally zero idea who this character is, but I figured he would be a pretty good base body for Kratos, mainly because he's quite buff. He's just like slightly bigger than Cap, like as you can see here, and he's about the same height as the Papa Parade figure. However, I would have to do some things with removing the paint here, like the tattoos and the jacket, just to get like a better look at what he actually looks like. So let's just try to get that off. And fortunately, it's rather easy. You just pull everything off. Same goes for this thing here, and it doesn't work because the freaking weird arm is too big. So I'm gonna have to heat up the arm, pull it off, and then see what I can do. Okay, so I realized that I don't actually want to take the entire arm off. I just want to take off this annoying piece here. So I'm just gonna try to push the peg out, yeah, like so. Get this metal barbed wire bracelet thing off, and then off with the jacket. And this belt needs to go to... I mean, I was planning on getting rid of these boots anyway, but for starters, let's just have a look at what we're working with. So, I mean, the body is a little bit more shredded, I guess, than ideal for Kratos. I think he would have to have like a tiny little bit more body fat, but it doesn't really matter because I think when I have the harness on top of him and everything, it's gonna look a lot better. So, for the like outfit, I actually was planning on buying a second NECA Kratos to just take all the accessories, but I lost out on the auction and I'm impatient and I can't really be bothered to wait or order something from like AliExpress. So I figured I will have no use of this figure after I finish this project, if I finish it. So I will just try to take this sash here and this harness from the NECA figure. I was thinking that maybe I could just hollow out everything here, but I don't know, the plastic is pretty hard, and I think it would be a lot of work to just grind away until I have these solid pieces hollowed out, and I don't really know. So I'm just gonna try to disassemble this figure and then see what I can do with the parts. So with the arm heated up, you can just pull it off just like so. And ooh, can we stretch this part? I think I'm gonna have to disassemble this arm too to get this off, because this thing wraps around the armpit and stuff. So both arms are off, and hopefully I can just... It's a little bit tougher than I thought still. Okay, like so. We have the harness here. Can we just take off the head like so? And seems to be working out pretty well in terms of scale. I mean, this looks pretty good. I don't know if it's too big, is it? I mean, it's probably like a little bit too big, but I think with more stuff on it and when the tattoos come on and maybe like another shoulder pad, it's not really gonna distract too much. Let's try to get the like this waist piece off. So I think this is just like on one big ball joint. So I've heated everything up, and moment of truth, if I can just pull this off immediately, that would be great. And I can. Perfect. Why isn't this coming off? What the? Oh, it's glued. How much bigger is this body then? Did I use this body here? I don't know. I think it would look really weird with this head, because I still want the head to look like 112 instead of 110. We'll put that idea on hold for now. Where did the thing go here? Ooh, these kneecaps. Okay, so honestly, this doesn't look bad at all. I think the belt actually helps with making this transition a little bit better, because this entire thing is a little bit too big, but the belt pushes everything out just enough to kind of make this gap relevant. An issue I had originally with this figure was that these pieces here, like the hips, are really, really thin, but with all these little things hanging off, and that doesn't really matter. Mimir here on the other hand, I do need to replace with this, because this head is just too big. This is looking up. I need to find a replacement forearm for him though. So let's try to get this head off, and I think it's actually a separate piece because there's a quite noticeable seam line here. But see the beard giving in a little bit. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I like this. This looks good. There is quite a large gap here though. That's gonna bother me. I'm probably gonna have to resculpt something. But if I resculpt it, I'm also gonna lose some articulation, I feel. Decisions. So I've run into a slight problem trying to find a new forearm for this guy. So, I kind of looked around my photo box and I found this really crappy Arkham racial ghoul figure I have only because I wanted the Grundy parts. So, I'm going to see how this will look. I think this is a little bit too big. Yeah, it doesn't sit as snug as I want to either. I think I'm gonna try to hollow out this inside a little bit. I'm just gonna go in with a rotary tool and kind of grind away in here, but I'm gonna do that off camera. Okay, so not bad with a racial ghoul arm. I think the hand goes down a little bit too far, so I'm just gonna hollow out where this joint sits and just so I can push it in a little bit more. But I really want to keep these hands because he can hold the axe really well with it, and Random only had one closed fist, so this is gonna be perfect. So I think I'm gonna use both the forearms from Racial Ghoul. Okay, so I attached one arm. I think it looks pretty good in terms of scale and everything. Originally, I had an idea where I wanted to just put the actual Kratos hands on, but then I realized that these hands are massive and it looks really, really off. So I decided to just use the original ones, and I'm gonna have to paint these like brown or something. But the issue now is I have to attach these arms, and I don't really like how this looks. I will probably have to use the Racial Ghoul pegs if I can find them again. I literally had it just now, but I found it. So the issue is that this hole is too small, so I'm gonna have to kind of do a point of no return and make this hole wider. So I'm here now and I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks right now, but I think the arms are a little bit too long. And I can't really do anything about that, but I have an idea, because I obviously need to get rid of these legs here. And I think I can just simply swap the lower legs here. The issue is that he's gonna be ever so slightly taller than I originally anticipated. Like you see, like it's a little bit higher up. I think with that, it's gonna push the torso up enough that his arms are gonna look okay in scale. So he's gonna be a little bit taller, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So I've heated up the neck leg and it's gotten nice and soft, and now we'll see how much taller he's gonna be exactly. And okay, he's like a foot taller, which is not terrible. You know what, it's not that bad. He's still gonna be tall, but he's not gonna be like as gargantuan as this figure originally is, as you can see here. So I'm gonna take care of some paint rub now. So you have the joint here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind away this plastic here. So I'm going to try to avoid hitting these little nubs here, because they are what makes joints ratcheted, and if I remove these, the leg is going to be a little bit more flimsy, so I'm just going to do it like around here. So you can already see how much less plastic there is here, and obviously when I move it, it's not gonna rub against the other plastic. So I've undressed Kratos, and now I'm going to just sand everything about the body to have the paint stick a little bit better. I'm planning on giving him a little wash of like a kind of like pinkish red, and then maybe some dry brushing of white again to kind of have like this look that he actually has in the game. Yeah, let's just go over everything with sandpaper. And I'm also going to sand the legs because I want to paint them kind of like a leathery brown. So the snakebite leather kind of just didn't really do anything. It just kind of turned out into a greenish brown. So I'm going to do a black wash and yeah, just darken everything a little bit. Nothing really special here. So as you can see now, the pants are mainly black. So we're going to go in with a dark dry brush of kind of grayish, and we're just gonna do a kind of quick downwards job here so we can pick out some of the highlights. A lot of creases in his pants. I don't want to go too heavy on it, I just want there to be a little bit of highlights to the wrinkles. So here's a detail I almost missed completely. So Kratos has quite a big scar here over his abs, and that's because he was stabbed with the Sword of Olympus in God of War 2, I believe, at the end. So I'm going to have to sculpt that, and to do so, I just have some white epoxy clay here. I'm gonna place it like so. It doesn't really matter how neatly applied it is at the moment, because this is just a placeholder. Flatten this as much as possible. We basically just shape the scar. So while I'm waiting for that scar to dry, I have filled up the hole here with some hot glue, and I've used the remaining clay to kind of elongate the head, like the back of the head a little bit. So now I'm just going to smooth that out. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't color match, because I'm gonna paint everything regardless. Okay, so the scar is finished. It's here, it looks a bit messy, but I think it's gonna look a lot better when painted. Like, I just tried to kind of make it look like this. I've mixed in a whole lot of, you see this like watery thing at the bottom here, this pink? I've just kind of water it out as much as possible and just kind of tint the skin. So I have an idea. The wash isn't really dry yet, but I'm impatient and I don't really care. So I'm gonna try some of this Reichland Flesh Shade, and I'm gonna just put it in the mix, and I'm gonna add a whole bunch of water. I think this is turning out very brown, but so the wash is dried, and it looks pretty good. I like the pink, like, tint everything has. So now we're gonna dry brush with some white. The thing is, I had to like spot wash a couple of things, and like these are the areas I had to do that on, and it doesn't really look all that great. So I don't really know. I'll just keep painting until it turns good, I guess. Okay, so we just keep adding more and more dry brushing with like light pink. We're starting to get like a really nice, kind of accurate color to how it looks in the game. It's tattoo time, and I am very, very anxious about doing this. So it's starting to look really good here, but this red is a little bit too strong, so we're gonna dull it down a little bit with another dry brush. So I'm just starting from one side, kind of making sure I don't have too much, and now we just brush over it like this. It's a little bit heavy on some of the parts, like here, and I do want to fix that, so we're going to go back in with something, maybe just some diluted paints. So we can experiment with like the lower bit. This is very diluted red here. So you can give it a little extra TLC to the scarring. You can add some of that Reichland flesh shade. Why is it so brown? Okay, so now we're gonna do the head, and this is the part I'm the most worried about. I don't really know how good this sculpt is. Like, it looks like Kratos, I guess, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it worse or if I'm gonna be able to make it better. But I do know that I want to brighten up the areas under his eyes a little bit, because I think it's a little bit too much just like black. So I will still like keep the shading there, but I will do it on my own. Okay, so we're gonna do our first dry brush. The wash isn't really even at all, but I don't really think it's gonna matter. I might have to go in here. I didn't realize I completely missed this area. But let's just try to brighten up this a little bit. You can see how this kind of like pinkish tone is actually coming through now. It's because of the undercoat of the Reichland flesh shade. So I painted the eyes off camera. I hate painting eyes. I hate it so much. I'm not really satisfied with it. But I will sleep on it and see what I think in the morning. But for now, I'm going to just dry brush the beard. A little bit of dark brown. And then I will do another dry brush of kind of like a gray. I just want there to be like a couple of like brown strands in this beard. Now a gray dry brush. And here we finally are. I spent so many hours painting these stupid freaking eyes that I just could not film it. It was pissing me off way too much. So eventually I came around and got to something I was kind of satisfied with. Overall, everything finished now, and I think he looks absolutely fantastic. So to run it through for you people who didn't watch the video, he has the lower legs and the waistcloth piece and the armor here from the NECA figure. And then the forearms here are from Arkham City Racial Ghoul by McFarlane Toys. And the rest of the body is Marvel Legends Random. And finally, the head is from the Pop-Up Parade Kratos figure, which I very extensively repainted. And the entire thing in general is completely repainted. I am very, very happy with how the skin turned out. I think this is pretty much the perfect match to how he looks in the game. It's also very, very close to the NECA figure. It's just like a little bit whiter, but you know, I'm fine with that. I just love how the original skin tone is just kind of shining through, and then the dry brushing gives that kind of like ashen texture. And then there's like a little bonus thing here. I have Mimir hanging here in the back, and this is also the Pop-Up Parade head, and I repainted everything and just to give him some more detail, and then I glued this little string so I could latch it onto here where the original Mimir head had like a little sculpted thing. So yeah, he hangs on here pretty alright-ish. I know because of physics and stuff he can't always be in this perfect position, but I think it's pretty cool that he's just kind of hanging around, and I can also use him as an accessory for Kratos to hold. I just love the fact that this Mimir is now an actual separate piece. So yeah, that's pretty great. Furthermore, if you see here, there's like, you can see like a little bit of white. It's because I drilled some holes in here so I can fit these pieces in here from the blades. Putting them in like so, and they fit like this without too much issue. I know they're supposed to wrap around, but I couldn't really make that look particularly good. So yeah, but the feature is there, so that's like close enough. And then of course he can also wield the axe. And I would actually really like the Draupner's spear, because that's my favorite weapon in all of Ragnarok. But I don't have one, so I'll have to settle with this. But I really do love how the axe looks in particular with him. And just like the original figure, the axe fits on the back like so. So yeah, Kratos, Marvel Legends style. He is like a little bit too big still, but you know, it's a lot closer than what it used to be. The NECA Kratos was just absolutely massive. Replicating his height, he is, yeah, you can just see here for yourself, he is so big. So I think this looks good still. And I'm very satisfied with how everything turned out. And also because it's, you know, something I put a lot of work into. I'm just really ecstatic just looking at him. Oh yeah, and I sculpted this scar here across his stomach as well. So yeah, I haven't really figured out what to do with Atreus yet, but eventually I will get there. But for now, look at him. I think it looks great. So thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed.
Death can have me when it earns me. Return my son, or you may meet the god I once was.
I'm the greatest ambassador to the gods, the giants, and all the creatures of the Nine Realms. I know every corner of these lands, every language spoken, every war waged, every deal struck. They call me Mimir, smartest man alive.